Hi guys, now most of you watching this video probably know who Morbid Angel is and you're probably fans of Morbid Angel. So I have a question for you. What is your favourite Morbid Angel album? And before I continue, I'm going to ask you to check out Fallen Prophets, link in the description. Now for those who don't know who Morbid Angel are, here's a brief description. They're a death metal band from Florida, USA. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole entire history of Morbid Angel, as this isn't the focus of the video, but I will leave links in the description in case you're curious and want to know a bit more about the band. This video will be focusing on their studio albums and which one is your favourite, and you can tell me in the comments down below. Think of Possessed Seven Churches. Multiply the intensity of everything that made Seven Churches heavy in 1985 by 100. Then you've got this album. Intense riffs, mindless solos, grounding vocals, and amazing drumming that shoves your head into a blender. The best part about this album is the drumming. P. Zandervoort is a beast, and with his blast beats and time changes, like in the song Chapel of Ghouls, which has at least 10 tempo changes throughout the legendary song, he can play at all tempos, from the complete blast feast of Beat for the Devil to slow doom metal outros to evil spells. It is equally matched with Azathoth's and Brunel's brutal riffs. Azathoth's solos during evil spells sounds like blood-curdling screams on the victim of a serial killer who's about to slit his throat. With the riff inspired by black metal in a song like Immortal Rights, David Vincent's also created the first true death crown. This, along with Seven Churches, is a highlight reel of the death metal genre. The harmonized leads from Visions from the Dark Side sound so evil. I think it's probably the best moment in all of death metal. Immortal Rights has some brutal drumming and kick-ass riffs. The demonic growls of Vincent. Suffocation has some hellish blast beat drumming and some brutal riffage and a chaotic solo. The ending is chaotic as hell, with the brutal drumming smashing the ears of you. Chapel of Ghouls is the best song on the album. It has crushing riffs, a dark atmosphere, and the same drumming that beats you to death. Every song is crazy and excellent. This album is just as good as its predecessor, the beyond brilliant Altars of Madness, that is. Although I'll always tell you something, seeing as how I hold that album up, well, the first three Morbid Angel albums actually in very, very high esteem. The production is not quite as clear as Altars, but the added thickness in the guitar department really helps, as the extra low end of the bass guitar and the speaking guitars of Trey and Richard really owed this album. The signature wildly inspired soloing and crazy riffing was unchanged, and in fact more chaotic in this album. Check out Trey's kneeling Middle Eastern sounding Rami bar in the first solo of Rebel Lands, for example. Richard's somewhat more restrained and melodic work offset Trey more weird and atonal style very well, and his solo acoustic piece, Desolate Ways, is appropriately titled with its lonely feel and subdued picking. H1 simply flattens everything in its path, like a one-way tank, as does Unholy Blasphemies, due in no small part to P. Sandoval's unorganized chaos approach to his playing, but really pretty much the entire album slays, with the exception of the ending piano piece in Remembrance. Pretty not the best way to end an album, but then again, that just shows back in the day that Morbid Angel didn't really give a damn for commerciality, and that made the approach work. Another classic in the canon of US death metal. It's practically thrash. You have to think about when this came out, which was 85, 86. This was some damn brutal thrash. This was before the stupid vocals, horrible drumming, and retarded down-tuning. The production is a little rough around the edges, but it does the trick. Mike Browning's vocals are quite nice. Think Pleasure to Kill Millet, although it's like more morbid saintish. The bass is audible and the guitar's a little low, but the tone here is nice. We start with Chapel of Ghouls, a funny intro, but this is a old school brutal death thrash and it rules. It's actually pretty revolutionary for the time, like Bestial Devastation and such. Highlights include Angel Disease, which is also on Covenant, and unsurprisingly is the best and only good song on this album, but here it is played best. But of all Lords of Fevers has some really great riffs, as so does Hellspawn. Things here are really nicely developed. It's just all great death thrash. There shouldn't be any complaints. So stuff here really screams out Creator, Exodus, Possessed, maybe a little Mantis Early Death. It really shouldn't be taken song by song, but more as one brutal slab for music like a Demolition album. A few songs will make it onto Altus, but everything here is just fine. They should really just have released this album in 85-86. Everything here is a winner. Anyone who likes death metal or thrash metal should really pick this up. This was the best thing the band ever came up with and shouldn't be overlooked. Very old school.